show you a source right now. So just read
I that's not what I asked for. Listen very closely to what I'm asking you for. I said, I would like for you to give me a reason to believe that the church fathers are accurately relating the teachings of the apostles.
Yeah, I'm going to demonstrate you one right now by giving motivators of the source right here.
That's go ahead.
Literally an infallible source.
Go ahead. Oh, no, you don't get to just say it's an infallible source. That's a presupposition once more.
How's that a presupposition? Under what worldview?
You haven't yet demonstrated that it's an infallible source.
No, but under what worldview?
Under your worldview.
Under mine.
You're presupposing that the source you're giving us is infallible without yet demonstrating it.
I'm going to.
They're really bad at this. It's like, also, I feel like we're kind of all over the place with this guest. I really need to like nail them down and get them to focus up. Also, by the way, everyone, I just realized my VPN was on, which is why the internet was shitting out on me just now. But I've already taken care of it.
Yeah, it's clear now.
Yeah. I hope AJ doesn't take too long.
Yeah, look at the chat. I sent you both of them.
I can't click on that.
There's ontological. You can copy and paste your own PC. But
just tell us what the evidence is.
It's a lot to read. I mean, you have a PC. I'm on a phone.
You just okay. You wait. Do you not know the data that you're sharing with us?
I do. It's a lot to get into.
Well, it shouldn't be that difficult to like just give us the argument for why we should believe that the church fathers ontological evidence.
Yes, ontological evidence.
What do you think that mean? What do you think that phrase means? Ontological evidence. What do you think ontology is? Are you LARPing as a Phil bro? Come on, dude. What do you think ontology is?
Phil bro? What? I'm not even into philosophy.
Stop using terms you don't know the meaning of. Then now, give us a reason why we should take it to be the case that the church fathers were accurately representing what they learned from the apostles. Just give us the argument.
Can you open the source?
AJ, just give us the argument.
Your criteria was
I'm not going to read a giant page.
So you had me find the source not to open it though. Are you serious?
I assumed
it was
that you. I assumed just. AJ, if you cannot act like an adult, like, what is it? Okay, I used to think that maybe Christianity produced this kind of behavior in an individual.
I'm not even.
But it seems like instead, shut the fuck. But it seems instead, here, I'm just going to mute you so I can't hear you.
Epistemic fact.
Anyway. Oh, okay, there we go. Slur. Yeah, it seems like instead of like Christianity producing this kind of behavior, it seems like Christianity maybe just attracts this type of behavior in an individual. By the way, that was someone who wants to become a Christian, everyone. So if you're like thinking about becoming a Christian and you're wondering what kind of people are going to be drawn to Christianity and like what you might expect to find in the Christian church, that's what you have to look forward to. Yeah, you can say you're not a Christian. You clearly are. You're a liar.
Yeah, exactly. So it was a homepage to Dallas International University or something like that. It was just a homepage. It wasn't a study or anything like that. Literally just a homepage. And if you scroll, there's different articles. One of the articles was the resilience of the church. And so it was very laden with Christian themed, like it seemed like a religious homepage. I have no idea who Dallas International University is, if they're accredited. It just looked like a religious organization, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, that was crazy work. Man, just couldn't prove a single point. Also, what's ontological? That's crazy. All right, we're gonna talk to Rosa now. Rosa Melona, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes, I'm 18.
And what pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
And are you a Christian?
Yes, I'm Catholic.
All right, I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. This is Sean. I think that the Bible is bullshit. Change your mind.
Okay. Do you just want me to hit you with facts, or do you want me to talk about feelings, or do you want me to?
Definitely stay away from feelings. We don't care about feelings here.
We don't care about feelings here. We care about facts. Okay, understood. The Bible is BS. Well, I think you can find many things in the Bible that can give you hope, that can make you feel better. That
Again, we don't care about feelings here. I'm interested
Okay.
whether or not the claims of the Bible are true, like whether or not God exists, whether or not Jesus was the Messiah, whether or not he resurrected from the dead.
Yeah, that can't be proven.
None of that can be proven.
No, I don't think any of that can be proven. No.
You said you're
Then why do you
Catholic.
believe it, Rosa?
You said you're Catholic, right?
Yeah.
You realize that there's like a whole tradition in the Catholic Church of claiming that God's existence can be proven and presenting arguments for that claim.
Well, I think that believing in the Big Bang and creationism is compatible.
No, well, depends on what you mean by creationism. If by creationism you mean that God created the world 6,000 years ago and that the book of Genesis is true, then no, it can't be. If you just mean like God is the originator of the Big Bang, I mean, it's compatible, but we have no reason to believe that that is the case.
No, what I'm saying is I think that you can take the Bible as a metaphor with its creation when it talks about creationism
So
and still believe in the Big Bang.
is the fall of Adam and Eve a metaphor?
It could be.
Well, if that's the case, then there's no reason for Jesus to die. Like the whole reason why Jesus needs to die is because to rectify the mistakes of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. But if they didn't exist and they didn't actually do any sin, then Paul's whole argument about how through one man death into the world and to another man came salvation to the world. I have no reason to accept Jesus then if like Adam and Eve aren't real.
Well, I don't think that you should accept Jesus if you don't want to.
Well, it's not a matter of
Like,
want.
I think everyone.
It's not a matter of want.
Huh?
I can't accept Jesus because I'm not convinced that he was who you claim he was.
Well, I don't think that's a problem.
Well, it is, and according to your religion. According to your religion, I have to believe that Jesus is the Messiah, or else I will go to hell. And which sucks because it's something I have zero control over.
Well, the thing is, I haven't really got. I will right out say that don't want to call it intelligent, but I don't really have like the skills to like quote scripture. But I can tell you that the Bible does say that those who weren't aware or weren't guided properly or didn't really understand the Bible or Christianity, when they die, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to go to hell. They can go to they can go to heaven.
Okay, but I understand the Bible and Christian. I understand. But I understand the Bible and Christianity. So what happens to me when I die?
Well, maybe you don't understand it enough, because then otherwise you would be convinced.
I probably understand it better than you do.
Possibly.
So it's just like just making up like criteria for like an impossible criteria so that basically everyone gets saved. It's very convenient, but it's not very biblical.
Well, the thing is, I'm not one of those people that goes around like pointing the finger or blaming people or using my religion to judge other people. So yeah,
Rosa,
I think.
if I can ask you, you said you can't prove it or you can't provide evidence that the claims in the Bible are true, like the important claims.
Mhm.
Why do you believe it?
Because it keeps me going. It keeps me going, and it keeps me happy. It keeps me on the right path. It's like my fuel, like my life.
But what
That's
convinces
sad.
you it's actually true? Because what you're saying is that you believe it because you're basically saying it has utility value.
Or
Let
do
me
you
ask you a question.
do you just
Sorry,
not
go ahead.
do you just not care that it's true?
That's what I was going to ask next.
Mm, it's not that I don't care that it's true. I do care that it's true, but towards someone who doesn't think that it's true, I'm not willing to have that discussion.
Really, 1 Peter 3:15 says you should always be willing to give an answer for the hope that is within you.
Well, I don't follow the Bible like to the dot, because like I'm also gay, and in the
Like actively gay?
yeah,
Okay, so so in Catholicism, in order to have a place in the world to come, you must actively go to confession and actively engage in the Eucharist. But if you engage in confession without the intention of actually like turning away from your sin, it renders void the confession.
Well, my priest knows that I'm gay, and my priest knows what I do, and he doesn't have any problem with it.
And he still offers you the Eucharist?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that makes him a good person, but it makes him a bad Catholic.
Well, I think things have changed.
They haven't. No, there's no dogma in the Catholic Church that has changed. In fact, the official position of the Catholic Church is that certain dogmas, like that, you cannot engage in same-sex relationships, are immutable according to the Catholic tradition. And
I think people have changed.
Well, people may have changed, but your religion hasn't. And if Catholicism is true, then you would be in the wrong.
I understand that.
Rosa, here's an important question for you. What if hypothetically it turns out Catholicism is wrong and there is no God? That might not be a comforting thought to you, but if that ended up being the truth, would you want to know the truth or would you rather continue believing?
No, I'd want to know the truth.
Good for you. So you would rather know the truth even if it's uncomfortable. What is the best method to determining what's true to align your beliefs with reality? How do you think we should go about that?
Well, there's lots of scientific investigation that can be done, but
yeah. So sorry, go ahead.
I don't think that for spirituality and my soul, I don't think that scientific investigation is really something that will help me in that sense.
I was going more broad. Would you agree that you should, if you want to believe as many true things and as few false things as possible, you should only believe things when there is sufficient evidence to believe them?
Well, for a long time, I rejected my religion, but then I found myself in a position where I didn't really know what to do with my life. So I went back into it and it helped me and I just stayed.
Yeah. So, when you join a church, you have all these people around you, they're love bombing you, you're getting acceptance. And there's a lot of utility value there, and it can help people and help people with their life or what have you. But you just have to ask yourself the hard question is, do I want to continue believing this and dedicating my life to it if it's not true? And if the answer is the same as what you gave, you should investigate within yourself, do I have a good reason to continue believing this? And I don't mean good reason from like a convenience or utility standpoint, but from an evidence standpoint. Like, is this actually true? Because you're dedicating your life to something that does not approve of your who you are, your intimacy, which partners you have, who you can fall in love with, who you can build a life with. And so you should really it should be really important to you that this is actually true. And then ask yourself, do I have actual evidence that suggests this is true? Or am I just kind of going through the motions because these people, they seem to accept me, but they don't accept my sexuality or who I choose to love or what have you.
You
Do you
see,
understand what I'm saying?
that's not really the experience I have.
Okay.
What I think is that the person, because like in Catholicism, we have like the Bible, and then we have I don't know how you say it in English, the book with all the rules in it. What do you call
Catechism. The catechism.
that? The catechism. And I think whoever wrote the whole thing about homosexuality in the catechism is just a miserable bastard.
John
And that hopefully
Saint John Paul II is a miserable bastard.
Exactly.
Pope Saint John Paul II.
Exactly.
Well, that's great coming from a Catholic.
Yeah.
But
Exactly. And so hopefully at some point someone will change that. But in the
Yeah.
scripture itself, homosexuality is not mentioned at all. And everybody
Well,
in
that's not
my
true.
It is true.
No, Leviticus
and
18:22 does describe relationships between two men in a sexual manner.
Yeah, but that's not homosexuality, is it?
Well, it depends on what we mean by
and
homosexuality. Like, does
the
the
word
Bible
homosexuality.
does the Bible prohibit two men from having sex with each other?
No,
It does. Leviticus 18:22 does prohibit two men from having sex with
it
each other.
doesn't.
It does. Why would you think otherwise? What about I guess we can read it together. Let's take a look.
Okay.
Leviticus
Well, anyway,
18
let me finish what I was saying.
verse 22
There's no
says,
homophobes in the church that I go to.
so it says, "You shall not lie with a male as with a woman. It is an abomination."
Okay, what does it say? Homosexual.
Well, does it need to use
Homosexuality.
Does it? This is no different than Christians who come on here telling me that the Bible doesn't describe David's wives as being raped because it doesn't use the word rape. But like the action, would you agree that a man having a sex with another man would be like a factor within homosexuality at least?
I don't think that's what's being talked about there.
But you haven't given us a reason why to think not. Like, listen, I'm very thankful that you're, anti-Bible and anti, like, what the Bible actually says, but like, the Bible doesn't support your position here, which is one reason why it's bullshit.
Actually, is that in the Old Testament or in the New Testament?
Both. Leviticus 18:22 is in the Old Testament. Romans chapter 1 is in the New Testament.
Right. Well, the Old Testament was written in Hebrew.
Yep, I speak Hebrew.
So, from what I've heard, they're actually talking about PDF.
No, it does not. It says ve'etzechar lo tishkav mishkefi isha to'eva hi, which means, and with a male you shall not lie, as with a woman it is an abomination. The word used here is zechar. Zechar just means male, which is like, I'm a male.
Well, they're not exactly very straightforward with it, are they?
What's not as straightforward about you shall not lie with a male as with a woman, it is an abomination?
Well, how do you lie with a woman?
You penetrate her.
Same way your parents did.
This is not a I think you're really trying. Wait, do you affirm the Trinity?
Yeah.
Where is the Trinity described in the Bible? Where is it we use the word Trinity?
I'm not sure.
It doesn't. The word Trinity does not occur once in the entirety of the Bible. Does that mean it's not there? According to you?
I don't know.
Well, how about the word Catholic? Is Catholic in the Bible?
Maybe not.
It's not. Does that mean that the early Christians weren't Catholic?
I think they were.
Well, but does it say that they are Catholic?
No, maybe not.
Okay, so the word doesn't need to be present as long as like what's being described, but what that word describes is being described in the text, then that action is present. And we have here in
My
Leviticus
point-
18:22 a prohibition against lying or having sex with males as with women.
My point is that they're not exactly 100% specific about it.
That is
And-
that is as specific as you can get without actually using the word homosexual.
And they're not talking about two adults of the same sex
Wait, how do you-
loving
wait,
relationships.
Okay, we don't know. Yeah, sure, we might not know about the status of the relationship, but all this does prohibit. Perhaps you're making the claim that, listen, as long as you're like celibate, two gay men can get married, but as soon as they have sex, that is a prohibition according to the Bible.
Or maybe not. Like, maybe that's not what it's
No,
referring to.
not maybe. That is what the text says. It would just be easier for you to go, okay, I just don't believe what the Bible says then, than for you to be trying to bend over backwards to make the Bible say something it doesn't say.
No, I just don't think that's just not how I interpret it.
Wait, what about, okay, let's break this down. And with a male, what is a male?
A man.
Okay, you shall not lie. What does that mean?
Or lie down.
Yeah, what does it mean to lie down?
Like, be horizontal.
It's more than just literally laying down, as if the Bible is not simply prohibiting, like for me and Sean, from laying down next to each other. Be honest. What
Lay
is it?
down.
What does it mean to lay down in Hebrew when it says to lie with somebody? If I lay with somebody, what am I saying? Be honest.
As a man normally would with a woman.
Yeah.
It's almost like you're saying, according to the Bible, Dalton and I can have poogly woogly as long as we do it standing up, but not lying down.
No, what I'm saying is that the Bible at no point discusses homosexual relationships.
But it does, as we've just clearly seen.
But it doesn't, though.
But it does. We've all just read it. You can. I know you really don't want it to, but you know, the facts don't care about your feelings, and the Bible does present itself as being against the idea of a. And listen, here's your out. Here's your out. You can just say, I don't believe that part of the Bible. I don't think the Bible is true.
No, that's not what I'm going to say.
You're just going to deny what the Bible says.
Say is that in the Catechism, it does say it.
Wait, is the Catechism authoritative for Catholics?
Yeah.
And you're a Catholic.
But I'm saying that the miserable bastard who wrote it will change it.
Well, the miserable bastard who wrote it is dead.
Well, someone will change it then.
What makes you think? What makes you think that?
Well, the last pope we had, not the one we have now. He's miserable as well.
Pope Francis said Pope Francis said that homosexuality was demonic. He was not better.
He did?
He did.
Oh, I thought he was nice.
He was Catholic. No. I think what would be best for you is to consider maybe leaving the Catholic Church, which I mind you isn't just like anti-LGBT, but also is flat on just a criminal organization.
Oh yeah, I know it's a criminal organizer. Wow. They've done a lot of things wrong over the years. That's why Protestantism was born, because So as much as I've heard that people were going around saying that God needed money
Not
and they were trying to
exactly.
get money off people.
Not exactly that, but something like it. Rosa, I think you really need to consider maybe leaving the Catholic Church. If anything, find a more progressive version of Christianity that doesn't demand that you bend over backwards like this.
Can you give me an example of more progressive version of Christianity than Catholicism?
Sure. What's that one Anglican offshoot? Episcopalian? Is that who they are? Is that the here? Wait a minute. American offshoot of Anglicanism. Episcopalians. The Episcopalian Church are pro LGBT. You don't even need to hold to the idea that the Bible is inerrant.
Okay. Well, I'm really glad that you have like the LGBT banner up there behind you, and I'm glad that you support us. And yeah, thank you very much for talking to me. And I'm sorry that I wasn't like able to give you a good debate, but yeah.
No, it was a good conversation. I think it was fruitful. So,
thank you for talking to me.
All right, you have a wonderful day, Rosa, and good luck to you.
You too. Take care.
Bye, Rosa.
Real quick, everyone, we're going to bring up our next guest who's going to be coming over to us from Discord. But before we do, I didn't realize that a whole thing happened on TikTok, which fucked up my whole super chat system. So I'm going to read off these super chats that I got right now. And then I'm going to try to fix the super chat thing while I bring up the guest from Discord. Now, Sean, they won't be able to hear you, but you can participate in that conversation. If you, like the guest, go to tinyurl.com/BG show Discord, then you can request stuff and you can like participate in that conversation with me. We have a super chat here, $4.99 from Aaron, correcting when he said who with should. Don't worry, Aaron, I totally caught what you meant there, bud. And at Samuel Pirtle with the $50, holy hell, big W to Samuel. Keep up the good fight, Dalton, and hello to Sean. Just finished watching you and John from your day. Yesterday. I think that's yesterday. Yeah, Sean and John. Oh, wait a minute. Sean and John. That's fun. Y'all, they do excellent work, and everyone should totally watch their show. I am envious of John's ability to remain composed in the face of ignorance. He stays cool like a cucumber, like no one else. And he's very articulate too.
Yes, I have a tremendous amount of respect for him.
Yeah. And at Bethos with the €2, 20 memberships. W. Carissa Whelan. Yes, big W to Carissa Whelan for sending out 20 Bible Guy gift memberships. Big W. And at Bethos, again with the €5, I have read the Pentateuch. It is strange. Some bits of wisdom and a lot of bullshit. But if someone finds it good, why not? I am a non-resistant atheist. Well, the majority of the Pentateuch is things like it's okay to rape women and women are property and genocide and also science denial is very, very little. It's got some interesting stories in it as far as mythology are concerned, but I don't think it's something we should definitely ever excuse. And there's another super chat here. I can't pull it up right now, but at Teamethy with the $2, good to see you live again. Keep fighting the good fight. Will do. Okay, now that that's been taken care of, I can fix this whole debacle while I bring up our guest over from Discord. Let's see.
Is it through Video Ninja?
No, it's not through Video Ninja. You go down to the Discord and there's a section called Bible Guy call-in stage. And once you're there, you can request up and I'll be able to bring you up onto the stage.
Okay, I'll try to make it, but I might not.
All right.
I'll try to find it.
Subhuman, I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we're going to get into the conversation. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
I am 22 years old.
Alrighty then, and what pronouns do you go by?
I go by he, him. All
right, and are you a Christian?
Yes, I'm Roman Catholic.
Alrighty then. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. I think the Bible, as you can see, is bullshit. Tell me, bud. Why should we think otherwise?
Sure. So that's a broad sorry, it's a broad question. I was here for the last guy that you debated with here. It sounded like he was a gay Roman Catholic, which I would also argue against because that is sin. It's proven multiple times throughout the Bible, which you actually affirmed yourself.
Yeah, which is
but-
one of the reasons why the Bible's bullshit. I agree.
I wouldn't agree that it's BS, but I would agree that it is a sin in that matter. But I would be willing to argue that God is real through the principles of sufficient reality.
Don't you mean the principle of sufficient reason?
Yes, principles of sufficient reason. Sorry.
All right. Go ahead and make your argument. I'm going to pull up a notepad here, so that we can keep track of this conversation. Online notepad. All right. What's your first premise?
Premise being that I wish I could pull up a video cam here now. I don't know if everyone would be able to see it, but I can't. But imagine
we really don't let guests bring on their cameras, especially after what incident we had 2 nights ago.
Okay, fair enough. But imagine, just a human figure on the screen, right? And I have a literal fork here and a cup. So I'm going to prove that I have the fork by tapping the cup, right? Like you can hear this, right?
Yep.
Can you hear? Okay. So you can hear that I am hitting the fork upon the cup, right? And the potency exists within the cup, right?
We're talking about act and potency, that something moves from potency to act by having another thing which is actual act upon it.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, so you get what I'm saying, right? So we'll fast forward here in my argument all the way back. So the potency of the fork hitting the cup was because of my mind. My mind being here, my mind being, acting upon the cup because I had brain chemicals responding within my brain, being because of, here in my body, and then my body existing because of my parents, and so on and so forth, all the way back beyond my parents, my grandparents, all the way back to the beginning of the universe.
Well, wait there.
Okay.
I'm not quite convinced yet that there's a beginning to the universe.
Okay, so we're still on that point. We're still at the beginning of the universe, right?
Yeah, I'm not yet convinced that there is a beginning of the universe.
Okay, so that's where we're at right now. That's what we're here to debate right now.
Oh, okay. Give us an argument for the universe having a beginning.
Okay, so right, would you say that you agree to the principles of sufficient reason?
I'm not quite sure what the principle of sufficient reason is. I've yet to have someone give me a good articulation of it.
But you just corrected me on it a minute ago when we started this debate.
I know the title of it. I don't know anything about it because I've yet to have a Christian actually articulate it properly in a way that I'm able to understand even what it is.
Okay, so you know what the title of it is, but you don't understand it from a Christian position, is what you just said?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I just know what the title is.
Okay. Would you like that? Would you like for me to explain it for you?
Yeah, go ahead. Just explain to us what the PSR is.
Okay, so from exactly that happened, I'd say about a minute and a half ago, that entire portion, right, was a collection of causes from, effects from potency that had a cause, right? From me lifting the cup, right? The cup would not be able to be lifted into the air without a cause, right? It had the potency for it to, right? And let me explain potency, right? potency is the ability for anything to happen given the right conditions, right? So if we think the Big Bang, for example, right? The Big Bang is able to happen through, certain conditions and a cause. So given the cup, for example, right? Actually, no, let me ask you this. The Big
Is this
Bang is able to
is
happen
this
through
is this just every effect has an underlying cause?
yes. Yep. So if you believe that, we can fast forward into this debate.
Okay. Every effect has an underlying cause. Okay.
Yep.
How do we get to therefore the universe has a definite beginning?
Okay, so let's fast forward back to the beginning of the universe. So the Big Bang. We'll talk the Big Bang. Are you a affirmer of the Big Bang through science?
Yes, but what do you think the Big Bang is?
The Big Bang being a collection or a condition of whether it be particles or certain conditions within the non-universe in order to create a what would I call it? A not just a condition, but an environment. Yeah, there we go. An environment.
Here,
for
let
it
me
to
help you out
exist.
here. Here's something more simple. The Big Bang theory is simply this: that 13.8 billion years ago, the universe as we know it was extremely dense, and began to rapidly expand.
Okay. Is
All
that
right.
it?
Yep, that's all.
All right. So, given your definition, right, by the universe being extremely dense and the right conditions to exist at that time, we'll even run by this definition, right? So even I don't even. Actually, no, I do know because. Well, actually, no, I don't know. The conditions. I only know the conditions for it to exist.
Correction, real quick. As Sean just pointed
Okay.
out, you can't hear Sean right now, but they said no. The Big Bang only says the observable part of the universe was a hot, dense state and expanded. So
Exactly.
that is the correct.
That's exactly what I mean.
All right.
I just can describe it with the correct words. So for that to happen, right, there would have to be a causation for that matter or situation to exist where the Big Bang happened, right?
Sure. The expansion had to have a cause.
The expansion. Okay. So what would you think the expansion was?
We don't know.
You don't know?
No one knows.
Would you? Oh, well, I would disagree with that matter to explain.
And you think the cause is God?
Yes.
Why?
Reason being is according to the PSR, which I just mentioned about half a minute ago, would have to have a beginning. Because if you have, I'll give an analogy, right? Imagine you have a ceiling fan, and that ceiling fan being connected to the ceiling through a chain.
I just think the chain is infinite.
The chain is infinite?
Yes. An infinite
So
series of
how-
cause and effect.
Okay, so if the chain is infinite, right, how would it not fall onto Earth without, or with gravity, without being connected to some
But that's not
structured ceiling?
but that there's no gravity doesn't work on a series of events. That only works
Right,
if we're
you're
talking
the-
about a literal chain in the known world, but we're not. We're talking about the universe just existing. It doesn't
I'm
have to.
referring to the
It doesn't.
PSR.
Well, I don't see any. Well, no, you've made an analogy to why the universe can exist ad infinitum into the past, and you use the example of a chain that that gravity would pull that down. But that's not how that might apply to a chain within the universe because the chain is a singular object, and gravity works on objects. Gravity pulls would pull a chain down to the surface of the planet. But like that doesn't tell me why a metaphorical chain of a series of events needs to can't go on forever.
I would argue that that's a non sequitur argument, given by the last sentence that you just gave there, right? So if I'm providing an analogy, right, and you're saying that the chain by the singular sense is not able to be connected to the analogy that I was giving in the metaphorical sense, then that would be a non sequitur because I'm giving an analogy. If a chain is connected by a world of gravity, because I didn't even say it was Earth. I'm saying that a chain connected to a ceiling fan that's bounded by gravity.
Okay,
right,
I understand. I understand why. I understand why a literal chain on the planet can't function this way, but why can't a chain of events go back infinitum?
Because I'm making my analogy, but you're begging the question of
I'm not.
why wouldn't.
I haven't begged the question. I haven't assumed the assumption in my question.
You just assumed it by asking that question, would you not?
Nope. I just simply asked you why it is that I can't have an infinite series of chains of events. I'm asking you to motivate that, and you've yet to give us a motivation.
You're going against the PSR, the principles of sufficient reason.
If the principle of sufficient reason says there can't be an infinite series of cause and effect, then sure, if that's what that means. Again, this is why I don't know what the PSR is, because no one's able to articulate it in a reasonable manner.
So you're saying you disagree with the PSR?
I guess so. If it states matter of factly that you can't have an infinite series of events in the past, then yeah, because it's yet to be demonstrated. Sean is saying PSR does not say that.
Oh, okay. Could you give me a good reason why you would disagree with the PSR outside of
because you've yet to
world?
Because you've given me no reason to think the universe has a beginning.
Okay. So outside of thinking of theology,
reason. I'm just going to have to ask, I guess, the internet what the PSR is, because the principle of sufficient reason is a philosophical principle that says everything that exists, happens, or is true has a sufficient reason why it is so rather than otherwise. In other words, nothing is without an explanation. That's fine. That I would just say that there's an infinite series of explanations. It doesn't seem like my position runs contrary to PSR.
Okay, I'd honestly ask the question why you would mention that, because you just reaffirmed my statement in the second sentence that you just gave there. Excuse me, the first sentence.
All I've said, I think you're terribly confused. It seems here that the principle of sufficient reason only states that everything that happens, it has a cause, which is the reason behind the effect. And I just would say that there's an infinite series of cause and effect that fits perfectly in with the PSR, it would seem.
What do you mean by reason behind the effect?
The underlying cause. The cause would be the reason why the effect happens.
Okay, good deal. All right, thanks for clarifying that. Then you just affirmed what I just said as even a second ago.
All I've affirmed is that I think that there's an infinite series of cause and effect. You affirm that position?
That there's an infinite series of cause and effect?
Yep, that's all that I've said at this point.
That's a logical fallacy, because if there's an infinite cause and effect.
Yeah, what
logical cause and effect?
What fallacy is it?
Because that would mean that it's
name the fallacy.
Infinite.
Oh, you're thinking that
it's a non sequitur because it doesn't follow.
That's not
because
What doesn't follow is anything you've said. I've told you that I have no reason to think that there's a beginning to the universe. The PSR doesn't require a beginning to the universe. The PSR just says that every effect has an underlying cause, and that fits perfectly in the model where the universe just exists eternally.
That still wouldn't make sense, because if it just keeps on going on forever and ever and ever, there would be no underlying cause.
No, it's just an infinite series of effect and cause, effect and cause, effect and cause. Not only is it not what you said, where you said there's no cause. There's actually an infinite set of causes.
Well, no, that's not true, because if the PSR runs in that manner, that would mean that the PSR would have to be false, because the beginning must start at a cause.
No, PSR doesn't say anything about a beginning. All it says is that everything that exists, happens, or is true has a sufficient reason why it is so rather than otherwise. In other words, in very short, every effect has a cause. And I'm affirming that. It's just an infinite series of cause and effect.
then you're denying that it must start at a cause. Is what I'm saying.
The PSR doesn't say anything in its definition about there being a start to the universe. I don't know where you're getting this information.
Did you look that up right now, or are you just saying that?
I'm looking it up right now.
Okay, good deal. Okay, I didn't know that we're allowed to do that. So there's 4 principles of the PSR, correct? I'm gonna actually look them up. Am I allowed to look them up as well?
Sure.
All right, cool deal. Because I'm trying to practice debating, not Googling, just because some debaters do not prefer that. But good deal. I definitely appreciate that patience with me. Okay. All right. You still here with me?
Yep.
Good deal. I appreciate your patience with me. So we have 4 forms of the principles of sufficient reality, right? We have becoming, the knowing, the being, and the acting, right?
Knowing, being, and acting. All right. Knowing as in
becoming, being, becoming, knowing, being, and acting.
okay. Knowing as in having knowledge.
Knowing as in the abstract concepts, judgments, and thoughts, such as the act or force applying upon it. That it knows that the potency is able to be done like that. The logical truth.
What knows?
The act or force acting upon it. So this can be humans.
Subhuman, I think you might need to develop your understanding a bit more firmly of the PSR before you use it as an argument for God. Do you have an argument
reciting this?
Do you
right
have
now from?
Well, you're just reading something that you don't quite understand. Do you have an argument for God that you better understand the reasoning for it?
We're literally in the process of that right now. I literally just tried to argue.
I'm not in the process of you learning PSR right here on the live. Do you have an argument that you understand well?
I know what the PSR is.
You haven't been
that to the existence of God is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't see why under PSR I can't have an infinite chain of cause and effect.
Because it would be illogical. That would just mean that it goes on and on and on and
what's
on.
Wait. What's illogical about it going on and on and on forever?
Because if you accept the PSR, that must mean that it has a cause. You just affirmed PSR at the beginning of this debate.
An infinite series of causes and effects.
Then that's not the PSR, because the PSR has a beginning, is what I'm saying.
I don't see that in here.
The PSR has a cause and effect. That would reasonably conclude that the cause of the universe was because of the eternal
I'm not rejecting that there are causes and effects. There's just an infinite number of them.
Yes, but okay, what is the start of a PSR? If you have a cause and effect, what is the start?
The start of a PSR?
Yes. Tell me what needs to happen.
I don't see. In order for an effect to happen, a cause.
Okay, what else?
That's all. In order to have an effect, you have to have a cause first. The cause leads to the effect.
That's incorrect. That's incorrect.
Really? What else do you need?
Yes. You need the potency for that to happen.
I
just stated that like a billion times.
Sure, it's just an infinite series of things which are potential becoming actual.
And I just asked that like 3 different times. And I said the word potency many times throughout this.
Okay, I'm okay with act and potency. It's just an infinite series of things which are potential becoming actual.
Okay, would you be able to prove that? Because that goes against what the PSR says.
Well, no, because
the PSR says
it's just the default. It's just then the PSR is wrong. The PSR can just state that. I need to give I need a reason. If that's what the PSR says, then I'm going to. I guess I'm now debating the PSR. I'm going to need the PSR to give me a reason to think that it has to have a beginning.
Well, you just affirmed the PSR at the beginning of this debate as if you knew
because you weren't able. Nope, I said at the beginning of this conversation.
No,
I said,
Whoa,
wait.
that's not what you said.
Whoa. Do I need to roll the tape back to when I explicitly said I don't know the?
Go ahead. You literally affirmed the PSR. I'm not even joking.
Here,
I'm not lying.
let's see. If did Dalton, the Bible guy, say that he doesn't know what the PSR is at the beginning of this conversation? Let's take a look.
No. I asked if you affirmed the PSR.
As I had read it, then yes, because what I read didn't say anything about a start of the universe.
Well, that has nothing to do. The PSR is a application of argument that something has to have a initial cause.
Then give
from the potency.
Okay,
that exists.
give the argument then to why I should accept the PSR. Then, if that's what you're insisting it means, give the argument for why I must believe that there has to have a start.
You believed in it. That's what I'm
well,
saying.
I guess I don't. Then now, give me a reason to accept it.
Okay, so we can be clear that you no longer believe in the PSR.
Since you're insisting the PSR says that there has to be a starting point, then yes, I reject it. Give me a reason to accept it.
Good deal. Okay, good deal. I appreciate you admitting that. The PSR states, I'll fast forward into it because you already know what it is. The PSR states that there has to be a cause to everything happening within the universe right now, as as the universe itself.
All right, now give us a reason I think that is the case.
If you subscribe to the theory of the Big Bang, right? You subscribe to the PSR no matter what.
Nope.
Because the potency.
Nope. Because Wait. Does the Big Bang in science have anything to say about a beginning to the universe?
Yes, it's literally explaining all
the Big Bang theory says is that our observable universe was very dense 13.8 billion years ago and began to expand. It doesn't tell us that the matter came out of nothing or came from somewhere else. It doesn't state any of that. In fact, a recent survey done has a physicist shows us that 68% of physicists do believe in the Big Bang, but don't believe that the universe has a beginning.
So you're saying that the universe came out of something?
Yeah, of course, cause and effect.
To that?
Yep. Well, I think the universe. Not that the universe comes out of something, but rather that the universe itself has always existed, as far as I can tell.
So the universe is eternal. Is what you're saying?
I hold to eternalism because I've yet to be given a good argument for there being a beginning to the universe.
Okay, so could you give an argument at all to why you believe the universe is eternal?
The argument is that no one's given me an argument for the beginning of the universe. Therefore, I should remain a non-believer in the concept of there being a beginning.
That would be the same thing as me saying that.
You're positing that something does exist, being a beginning. I'm positing that I'm not convinced that something does exist. The only thing that does exist under my model
is being eternal.
Well, my position is that the universe exists and that you can't get something from nothing. You agree with that? You can't get something from nothing?
You can't. No, because the God that I believe in made something from nothing.
Okay, then if you're going to hold the position that you can get something from nothing, then you're going to have to provide evidence. Otherwise, my position is simply this. You can't get something from nothing. We do have something. Therefore, there was never nothing, as far as I can tell. So I'll have to remain agnostic to the idea of a beginning to the universe unless you can provide the argument for it. Otherwise, I'm just not inclined to
half-lives. What about half-lives?
Half-lives?
We literally have proof of half-lives of elements within the universe.
Of elements, but elements come about through physics. Like the atoms didn't always exist as they do now.
What's the half-life of hydrogen?
Well, of hydrogen? I don't know.
Yes. Hydrogen.
Has hydrogen always existed? Wait. Has hydrogen always existed as hydrogen?
What? Wait, what do you mean by that?
Has hydrogen always... So hydrogen is made up of quarks.
Atoms.
Of quarks. Hydrogen. It's made up of quarks. The hydrogen is itself.
I don't know what quarks is.
Hydrogen. So atoms, which a hydrogen is a type of atom. atoms are
Okay.
made out of neutrons and protons, and then those neutrons and protons are made out of
Okay.
quarks. So it's made up of parts, and those parts come together to form what we would call a hydrogen. So my question is, you can talk about the half-life of a hydrogen from the point when a hydrogen is first formed. It has a half-life then, but I'm not stating that hydrogen has always existed as it does now. Only that, like, the underlying bits of reality being quarks, or the, like, even then, like, maybe the quantum fields or whatever, those have always existed. Something natural about the universe has always existed.
I would have to still disagree with you there.
Well,
because
if you're going to
the
disagree,
half-life-
then you're going to have to provide me evidence that something can come from nothing.
well, let me finish my point here. I was given it. Okay, so you're disputing the idea of hydrogen's half-life, right?
No. I'm only
Here on Earth, or where?
nope. I'm only disputing the idea that hydrogen atoms have always existed as they do as hydrogen atoms.
Okay, what were the okay? If you're kind of confusing me here, right? Because if
I
you
got
believe
that.
if you believe in the Big Bang, correct?
Yeah.
You be- okay, so the Big Bang had to be a expansion of the universe, but you're saying that the universe itself was eternal. If that had
Well,
to
yeah,
be,
like
then
for example,
conflicting.
how do we no, it's not conflicting, because how do we know, for example, that the universe doesn't go through phases of expansion and contraction over and over again, and our Big Bang is just one of those expansions? How did we come to the
That would have
conclusion? I'm saying
that would have to-
that's a possible explanation.
No. No, it's not, because if the universe was eternal, that would mean that it keeps on going forever.
Yeah, it would just
That
go
would
back.
mean that there was
It would be, and it would be. No,
reverse.
you're misunderstanding. It would just mean that the universe has always existed, and it's just continuously gone through cycles of expansion and contraction over and over again, forever.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Sorry. If the universe was susceptible to contraction, how would that work?
You'd have to ask a physicist. Whether or not the universe is going to collapse in on itself is a question for a physicist. There are some physicists who
How do
think
you
that the
believe in it?
universe. I'm not claiming that I hold a positive belief in that. I'm claiming that's just a possibility, because again, I've yet to be given a good reason to think the universe has a beginning. So, as far as I can tell, the universe has always existed, and just the idea of it expanding and contracting over and over again is one possibility. I'm not holding.
to it.
I don't hold to it. You weren't listening. I was just giving you an example of what could have been, what's possible based on the available
You
science.
just said that you hold to the
You
idea of the universe contraction.
I know. I said it's a I said it's a possibility. Not that I hold to it.
No, if we rewind the live, then because you just said that. That's like the second or third contradiction you just made.
Nope. I haven't made a contradiction yet, bud. You're just not.
Because
You're just not. You're just not. You're just not. Here, I'm gonna play back the tape. I'm gonna play back the tape. All right.
Okay.
You're just not very good at listening. Is the problem? All right. Let's see.
Poogly
Am I able to
as
hear
long
it,
as
or
we
do I
do
have
it.
to
But I'm
unmute your live
saying
stream?
that the miserable bastard.
Progressive version /. Let's see.
Yes. Tell me what.
So
I would beg to differ.
I'll have to remain agnostic to the idea.
Still disagree with you there.
Well, if you're gonna action and contraction, because okay, now we're
okay,
here.
so you're disputing. Am I able to hear it here on stream? Or do I have to
Oh, here, 1 second. Yeah.
Half-life, right?
No. I'm only
You're on
just.
Earth?
No. Wait, can you not hear the YouTube?
No, I have to. I can hear it. I just have to unmute it because I'm talking to you at the same time.
Oh, right, because you're not on TikTok. You're on Discord. Yeah, you'll have to
Right.
tune. Oh, yeah, you can't listen back to what this is. Well, the audience will be able to hear.
Okay.
We'll be able to hear the fact.
Is it okay if I mute you for a quick second? Like as soon as I mute you, can you reverse it?
Yeah, just go over to TikTok. You'll be able to hear it.
I'm listening from YouTube.
Oh, I mean, I guess you'll have to scroll back yourself then. But the audience is going to be able to hear me having not said so. We're going to listen. Nope. I'm only disputing the idea that hydrogen atoms have always existed as they.
You're kind of confusing me here, right? Because okay, so the Big Bang had to be a expansion of the universe, but you're saying that the universe itself was eternal. if that had
Well,
to
yeah,
be,
like
then
for example,
conflicting.
how do we no, it's not conflicting, because how do we know, for example, that the universe doesn't go through phases of expansion and contraction? So I said, how do we know the universe doesn't go through expansions and contraction?
That's not early
I
enough.
didn't.
You didn't reverse.
That's the
early
first time I
enough.
brought that up.
No, you didn't. You
Yep.
said that the universe was eternal.
But nope. I
Because
said
you
yes,
repeated
yes,
my
it is
point of the
eternal.
DSR.
It is eternal. I do hold that position, but whether or not it goes
Okay.
through a period of expansion and contraction over and over again, I don't hold to that positive position. You are
You
all
just
you
said
you
that.
are okay, buddy. You are all over the place. I suggest that if you're going to have these kinds of conversations with people online, you need to get better at listening and tracking the other person's positions. Otherwise, they're going to get really annoyed with you when you keep misunderstanding what they're saying over and over again.
And God forbid, forgive me. I'm not trying to make you annoyed. Like I'm just trying to have a general conversation with you.
Over and
I'd
over
be
again,
willing to
over
bet
and over again, you have
dollars.
misconstrued the things I have said over and over again in this conversation.
Okay. I would beg to disagree, man, but
I
know
would
what?
beg
It's
to
been a
disagree with your beg to disagree. But anyways, this has
it's
gone
been
on.
a good conversation. But I do want to say, I have that same button-up shirt as you, and if I could show you it, it is a very nice shirt, man, and I appreciate you for having that. It's a very base shirt, but that's all I wanted to say. God bless you, man, and God bless.
Anyways, enough of that. That was unbearable. I hate when this kind of conversation happens, when over and over again I'm like, nope, didn't say that, and then I have to roll back the tape. Although usually I'm able to roll back the tape because the person is on TikTok. But in this case, I guess. But at least the audience knows that because they were actually listening.
By the way, Chase Teaches Physics as a username. He came into the room. He's an actual physicist who is working with Dr. Blitz. He's come up on John's live. So if he ever requests up, it's probably because someone's talking about physics or cosmology or what have you.
Right. Yeah. All right. We're gonna bring up Lola now on TikTok. Lola, are you at least 18 years old?
Yeah, buddy.
All right. 1 second. I just gotta write down something here. Subhuman couldn't track the conversation for his life. All right. Okay, we got here Lola. Lola, I'm gonna ask you 3 preliminary questions, and then we'll get to the conversation. Question number 1: are you at least 18 years old?
Yeah.
Question number 2: what pronouns do you go by?
Caesar.
And are you a Christian?
Yeah.
All right, I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. Which one of the Bible's bullshit? Change our mind.
Well, I can't change an opinion, but
You
I
can't.
can tell you what I know.
You can. You can change an opinion by presenting new facts that would change someone's opinion.
Well,
Opinions
do
are
you
mal.
know everything about the Bible?
No, but I bet bottom dollar I probably know more about it than you do. But maybe you could show me I'm wrong.
So, do you believe in a religion?
No, I do not. I'm an atheist.
And you think the Bible is BS in what way?
In that it contains scientific errors, historical errors, contradictions, and failed prophecy.
So, what do you think about afterlife?
I'm agnostic to an afterlife. I've never been presented with good evidence for an afterlife.
Do you think being gay influenced your religious beliefs?
No, mostly because I'm straight.
God, I assumed you were gay. Sorry.
Well, you know what they say about assumptions. So, anyways, do you have anything worthwhile to say?
Yeah. So why is there that flag in the background?
Because I support the LGBT community. Love those guys.
You love them.
Yep. I got lots
Why
of
do you love
friends.
them?
I got lots of friends and even ex-lovers who are members of the LGBT community.
So would you say that you love people who are religious?
No, well, there are some people that are religious that I love. My mother, for example, is a Christian. I love her. There are many Christians on this app I do not love though, because they're just bad people.
They get up on lives and troll people and stuff.
Yeah, they try to troll, but they're like really bad at it. They're exceptionally boring. They lie to people about their pronouns, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Also, you haven't used my pronouns
Do you-
right in
do
this
you- do-
conversation.
Well, it's because it's a third person pronoun and I'm referring to you directly, so that would be stupid for me to do. Now, Lola, you dumbass, do you have anything to actually give us for this conversation, or is this going to be just 20 questions?
Yeah, what I have to say is lose some weight, Tubby. You're a lard ass.
I was fat when I was a Christian. In fact, I've lost weight since I've been an atheist, and you ran away because you're just a little bitch and a liar. Don't forget that Revelation 28 says that all liars will burn in hell. Wow, pathetic. Saw that coming from a mile away. That they have to do that
Yeah.
because they don't have any arguments for their religion.
I was gonna, as soon as he opened his mouth, I was gonna be like, warn you, this guy's an obvious troll. But I'm like, no, Dalton probably got it. He's just toying with him back.
Yeah, this person's come up before, and they, did their thing before, and they were like really sad and pathetic. So I just thought I'd just show how pathetic Christianity is. Let everyone see that this is what religion gets you. Was Z cosplaying as their girlfriend? No, probably they probably can't get a girlfriend. Anyways, someone's looking for a date. Yeah. Hello, Bible guy. How are you doing? I'm doing fine. Just waiting for someone to come up to actually give us a good argument for the Bible not being bullshit. So far, not doing so well. But we're gonna do a quick restart on TikTok. We'll get some fresh faces in here. And hopefully we'll get an honest Christian to come up to talk about their Bible with us. I don't have a lot of faith, but maybe they might change their mind. All right, we'll be right back, everybody. Go live. Woo! All right. All right. Everyone make sure you tap that screen. Share the live with those you love, with those you hate, with your friends and with your enemies. Let's get the word out there so we can have some interesting conversations about the Bible. Lola, you don't get to come back up after you ran away like that, you coward. And you're a liar and you're a coward, and no one should ever want to be a participant in your religion because you demonstrate that your religion creates liars and cowards. We'll bring up Sean, though. Sean's not a liar and a coward, so we'll talk to Sean. Hey, Sean. Sean? Maybe Sean's mic isn't on. But we're going to bring up what is this? Pinar Horse. Pinar Horse, are you at least 18 years old? I guess not. All right.
I restarted the app. Can you hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you now.
Okay, good. Weird bug.
Bjorn Hartmeier says, every time another atheist calls the Bible guy, every time another Christian calls the Bible guy, another atheist is born. That is true. Someone said, come to Puerto Rico. Is that a normal vacation destination? I get all those areas. I'm just bad at geography. I get all those regions mixed up. I know there's like Cuba and there's Puerto Rico and there's the Caribbeans. Why do you think the Bible is BS? Not trying to debate, just get your side. Most because of the scientific, historical inaccuracies, contradictions, and failed prophecies. Come to Tasmania. Oh, y'all have those crazy ass animals over there. Tasmanian. Well, I don't know if the is one of those animals doesn't exist anymore. There's the Tasmanian devil and the Tasmanian tiger. Are those the same thing? Or there's two Tasmanian things over there. There's like a striped dog. I think it went extinct a little while ago.
Please like and share the live on TikTok and elsewhere, wherever it's streaming.
All right, yeah, here's the Tasmanian devil. Wait a minute. There he is. Isn't that thing cute? I guess on YouTube y'all can't see it. 1 second. I got to get a browser source open for, let me see, window capture. Add existing browser source. There we go. Now y'all can see it. Look at that. Look at that cute thing there. It's got two front teeth. And is this the same thing as a Tasmanian tiger, or are those? No, Tasmanian tiger is a different animal. This is the one I think went extinct. I'm pretty sure. The thylacine, also called the Tasmanian tiger or marsupial wolf, was a meat eating. Yep, it's extinct. Sadly. Bring it back. There's a video of it. Yeah, I've seen the video of it walking around in a cage, black and white video. Very sad. Very sad to see something like that. Tigers are going to go extinct within our lifetime. I don't like that at all. But maybe we can, if we can create a version of a freaking dire wolf, surely we can use genetics to create tigers. Do you use OBS? Yeah, I use OBS to stream. There's not enough genetic diversity amongst the tigers for them to keep on going. Yeah, I don't know the science behind it, but I hope science figures that one out. For the past 20 years, I've continuously heard about scientists are going to bring back the woolly mammoth. They keep talking about it, and yet nothing happens. I won't be convinced until it actually does happen. But I do want to see it.
I didn't even know tigers were endangered. I went to, I can't remember the name of it, a theme park in South Korea where they take you on a safari run. You're fully enclosed, and you literally see lions and tigers and bears.
Oh
and there were
my.
a ton of tigers. Yeah.
I know that there's very few Bengal tigers left in the world. Let's see. What is the current number of Bengal tigers in the world? There are an estimated 3,000 to 4,000 tigers remaining in the wild worldwide.
Wow.
Yeah, that's insane. Most of them are in India, followed by Nepal, then Bhutan, and then Bangladesh. There used to be lions in Israel, in the land of Israel. There used to be a species of lion that lived there that went extinct. The Euro-Asiatic lion, I think it was called. Which is, why you will read things like in the book of Genesis, Judah is called like a lion, is called as being like a lion. Samson in his myth, he fights a lion. It's because at that time there were lions in the Middle East, but they've just gone extinct. What about rhinos? I'm pretty sure the black rhino recently went extinct. Did the black rhino go extinct is the first thing that came up, and the answer is, oh wait, no, the overall black rhinoceros species is not extinct, but it is classified as critically endangered. However, specified subpopulations have been lost. The West black rhinoceros was declared extinct by the IUCN in 2011. Yeah. When did they go extinct? I'm not sure. It's probably gonna be. The question is, did they go extinct before or after the time of Jesus? When did the Euro-Asiatic lion go extinct? The modern Asiatic lions went extinct in Europe around 100 to 1000 CE. So relatively recent in history. Everything is bullshit. Change my mind, says Kate. I don't know if I want to fight you on that necessarily. Were they filled with honey? No. As far as the data are concerned, lions are not filled with honey. But we have here at Timothy with the $5. How do theists explain species surviving a global flood just to go extinct anyways? I know. What a huge fucking waste. I mean, they think that dinosaurs existed on the flood, but I mean, there are two different kinds of like these young Earth creationists. Some that think that dinosaurs went extinct because of the flood, and then the others that think that dinosaurs went extinct after the flood and that there were dinosaurs on Noah's Ark. And if you hold the position that dinosaurs were on Noah's Ark, that means like 99% of all dinosaur species went extinct right after the flood. Like, what was even the fucking point? And then, yeah, of course, all these other species went extinct. Like Yahweh was like, I'm going to let these live on, but not for very long, because fuck them.
As soon as they got off the boat, what did all the carnivores eat?
Right? Because they were carnivorous at this point.
Yeah.
Remember, LDS thinks Cain held on to that side of the ark. There are some LDS who do think that Cain held on to the side of the ark and he survived, and that he went on to become Bigfoot.
Get out of here.
Yeah, no, this is wait a minute. Mormon myth about Cain being Bigfoot.
And the ark floated around for a year, right?
Yeah, it did. Yeah. We have here the popular Mormon folklore tale claims that Bigfoot is actually Cain, the biblical figure who killed his brother Abel. According to myth, Cain was cursed with immortality and a hairy, dark appearance, causing him to wander the earth as Sasquatch. It's not as something that's held officially by the church. It's just a popular myth that got started in amongst Mormons. But the movie, I don't know if you ever saw. Did you ever see that movie with Russell Crowe, the Noah movie?
I couldn't watch it.
I liked it, but they had Cain actually sneak onto the ark, and then they ended up killing him.
Nice.
I thought the Noah movie was like interesting in that I love the idea of taking biblical films and really hyping up and hyperbole. I don't know if that's the right word. Inflating the magical fantasy aspects of the biblical narrative. So imagine creating, for example, a version of the story of Samson where he's like stupidly has this super strength in almost a magical way. Even more so,
an action hero.
And he's like an action hero, and he's able to like lift like the sides of mountains and stuff like an ancient Superman. Give him some hand axes that were made out of a donkey's jawbone. That's like a really cool fucking idea.
I actually like biblical, not really the Bible stories per se, but based on like Bible fan fiction, like Book of Eli, for example, I thought was really good. Or what's it called? Constantine wasn't bad.
Constantine was
movies
great.
like that.
I think they're gonna make a sequel.
Or Devil's Advocate, loved it.
Devil's Advocate is a disturbing film, but it was like a good movie, good but disturbing.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves fits well into that genre, but Keanu Reeves has been talking about how they are wanting to make a Constantine 2, because the first one was just so good. And if you ever watch Supernatural?
I did not see that.
If you love the movie Constantine, you'll love Supernatural. It's basically the same thing. Good Omens was good. Good Omens is also a very good Bible-based TV show. But we have a guest here. SB 104. Yo, SB, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes, I am. What's up, man?
And what pronouns do you go by?
They, them.
And are you a Christian?
Yes.
Okay. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. I think the Bible is bullshit. Would you like to give us a reason to think otherwise?
Yeah, like what's your reasoning behind it?
The reason I think the Bible is bullshit is because of the scientific and historical errors, contradictions, and failed prophecies.
Kind of an example.
Of which one?
Any.
Failed prophecy. Yeah, Jesus said that to his disciples that he would return before all of them died.
No. He said he would return. He didn't
Before
say when.
No, he gave a time limit. He said that there are some standing here who will not taste death before they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. And then they all died and he didn't come back.
Really?
Damn.
There's no way he just like you come up on a panel, you're like ready. You know what I mean? That's just wild. Maybe
Happens a lot.
connection, maybe. Yeah,
Maybe.
I don't know.
All right, Marvin. Marvin, are you at least 18 years old? So that's a no. Here, SB 104th, yo, quit really fast. Put on TikTok shorts. Flawless victory. Oh, maybe I need to add that sound to the end of it.
That would be great.
Yeah, I'll do that. Thank you for that suggestion, Yana. Crazy work. At Simeon Urchin, with the $1.99, they made a woolly mammoth meatball. No one ate it. I did see that. They did make woolly mammoth meatball out. They like genetically grew using mammoth meat and then turned it into a meatball. I also would be wary about eating it, but like if you did, you'd be one step closer to becoming Fred Flintstone.
Wonder if it'll make you hairy.
Ooh, or like really good at running. But if you do run it, you'll hear the standard. Was it? That's such a man thing to do. Make a mammoth meatball. Yeah, for real. Delicious indeed. All right, so I think I should work on making a list of probable books that we could read for the Bible Guy Book Club. So here, I'm gonna get my word pad out, and then I will try to come up with a list of 5 popular biblical scholarship books, and then which ones would be best for us to read. So far, by the way, everyone, on the Philbro buzzwords, I've got "I take it to be," and they're just laughing like the Joker. "That's a blunder." "Go ahead." "Slow boy." "I wasn't talking to you." Whenever a woman talks, that's what they say. And then "impossibility to the contrary." Someone just said the word Ethiopian Bible in the comment section. What do y'all think? Why do y'all keep bringing that up? What the Ethiopian Bible is not special. I don't know why y'all keep bringing it up as if like it's somehow like Ethiopian Bible is more authentic than any other version of the Bible. It's not. All right, Jose is coming up. No way, Jose. Are you at least 18 years old?
Yes, I'm 19.
And what pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
And are you a Christian?
Yes.
All right. I am Dalton, the Bible guy. This is Sean. We think the Bible is bullshit. Change our mind.
Well, I mean, I would just want to hear why.
Scientific and historical errors, contradictions, and failed prophecies.
Give me one example of. What'd you say?
Historical errors, scientific errors, failed prophecies, and contradictions.
Scientific errors.
Yeah, the Bible presents the earth as being flat. The earth isn't flat.
And where does it present the earth being flat?
Okay, yeah, I'll give you the verse, but before that, I do need to give you a quick test. This is a new test I give everyone who asks this question. Do you know the difference between a circle and a sphere?
Yes.
What is the difference?
The circle being round and a sphere being
Spheres are also
the
round.
fuck. Actually, I haven't. Well, the difference between is like one is. I'm actually kind of retarded when it comes to fucking shapes, but
Okay. Well, here, listen. Don't slur again. If you slur again, I will have to drop you. And if you slur again, I will take that as a concession that you're running from the conversation. So that I will give you a warning on that one. Don't use that again. Now, what the difference between a sphere and a circle, I'll see if you agree with this. One's 2-dimensional, one's 3-dimensional, right?
agree.
Agree. All right. So, like for example, if you look on the screen, you'll see on the left side that one's a circle, and then on the right side that one's a sphere. Those are not the same thing. So, if the Bible want to say that God sits above the blank of the earth, which one would be correct and which one would be incorrect for the Bible to say?
I'd probably go with the sphere.
The sphere would be the correct or the incorrect one.
It'd be correct.
And if the Bible said the earth was a circle, that would be the incorrect one, correct?
That's probably what caught.
Probable what?
I would probably agree. I mean, I'm kind of not really well learned on when it comes to this, but I
Well,
would
no,
agree.
yeah, you would agree. If the Bible said the earth is a circle, it would be like incorrect. All right. Now we're going to go to the book of the prophet Isaiah, chapter 40. We're going to go to verse 22. Let's see what it says about God. Let's see. It is he who sits above the circle of the earth, and its inhabitants are like grasshoppers, who stretches out the heavens like a curtain and spreads them like a tent to live in. That's not right, though, right? The earth's not a circle.
But then again, you have to go where the Bible was translated from.
Oh, okay,
It was
so
translated from Hebrews.
Hebrew. Okay, well,
So there are many different.
mhm.
What Bible is this? Is it KJV, KJV, or
No, that was the New
what
Revised
Bible is
Standard
this?
Version, updated edition. But you know what? Let's actually go into the Hebrew. Let's take a look at Isaiah chapter 40, verse 22 in the original Hebrew. It says here, the first opening 3 words are Ha-Yoshev al-Hug ha'aretz. So Ha-Yoshev, he who sits al-Hug, upon the Hug ha'aretz. So the question is, what is a Hug? Hug in Hebrew means circle. It's different than the Hebrew word for sphere, which is door. So even in the original Hebrew, it says that that God sits above the circle of the earth.
So I want to make you. Just want to clarify. You want to make a point on, a misread word or something that shouldn't have been placed.
No, not misread.
This is a reason not to believe something.
Oh no, the reason to not believe the book of Isaiah is true, at least so that's
Miswritten.
not miswritten. Well, miswritten in the sense of it gets something wrong. Yeah, like if the book of Isaiah is obviously not from God, because God would have correctly stated that the earth is a sphere, not a circle.
Or then again, I mean, Isaiah was not written by God himself.
All right, but it wasn't inspired by God either, because God wouldn't have inspired something.
It was inspired by God.
So God inspired something that wasn't true.
Well, I mean, you're trying to make something. I mean, if you were to make an argument and maybe a word that you put in wasn't correctly used or defined properly, you want to have your whole argument completely fall apart from that.
Well, no, that's just one point.
That's kind of
like the
so
Bible
your point being that-
The Bible consistently portrays the earth as being flat. It says that the earth sits above pillars. It describes the shape of the earth in the book of Job as being like a clay seal. It describes the sky as being like a solid dome that separates waters above from waters below.
Jose,
here's the thing,
you asked him for an error in science. Would you agree that that is an error, correct? Now you could say it's not a big deal, it's only one or what have you, but you asked for it and he delivered, right?
Yeah, I'm not denying that point.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Thank you.
Would you like other scientific errors in the Bible?
Sure.
Sure. This one's going to be actually coming from God directly. when God gives the laws on what animals are clean versus unclean, he tells us that you shouldn't eat the hare, hare, which is a type of like rabbit, that you shouldn't eat the hare because even it while it chews the cud, it doesn't have split hooves. But there's a problem, is that the hare doesn't chew cud.
Do you know what
Where
cud
does
is?
what so I do know what cut is.
Okay.
What book is this?
Leviticus chapter 11. I
You know,
believe
Leviticus.
it's Leviticus chapter 11 verse 6. Let's take a look at this. Leviticus chapter 11 verse 6, it says here, let me make that a little bit smaller. Ooh. It says here, the hare, for even though it chews the cud, it does not have divided hoofs, it is unclean for you. But that's not true. The hare doesn't chew cud. It's not a ruminant. It's a word I learned from John Cohen.
You can make many arguments about this, but in the Old Testament, I mean, obviously the culture is different.
Oh, would you like a scientific? Would you like a scientific error in the New Testament?
Sure.
What is the smallest seed?
Here's this. Here's where the argument can fall apart. I mean, when the Bible was written is comparatively thousands of years ago.
Was it inspired by God?
It was, but at the end of the day, you can look at the Bible and see how things have changed when it comes.
Well,
we have more knowledge than them. But
biblical scholars like Bart Ehrman would actually say that we can we can know with 95% certainty what the original authors wrote down. Like the Bible is pretty well preserved. Like we do have portions of the Bible which have been added to and taken away from, but through scholarship we're able actually to deduce what parts were taken away from and which parts were added to. Which is why I'm able to say, I'm bringing up these passages. We have no evidence that these passages that I'm bringing up, like Jesus telling us what the smallest seed is, was changed. No data to support that position.
I mean, you're at the end of the day, I think that obviously there are, I wouldn't disagree that there are many mistakes in the Bible, or science in regards to science, or miswritten, or obviously words that shouldn't probably be there. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's like your many gaps in the Bang Theory. I mean, there are gaps in every single argument out there.
Yeah, but the difference between this is the difference between my gaps and yours is that I don't shove things in my gaps. I'm willing to say I don't know instead of saying, well, I don't know, therefore it must be God.
I'm not claiming to be God. I mean, the Bang Theory. I mean, there are always things that aren't true, or things that were miswritten or misread,
like the Bible
changed. I'm not denying it's the Bible, but I'm saying it's in everything. There's something that is a gap.
It sounds like you agree with us, and that the Bible is bullshit, and that it's not really trustworthy to tell us the truth because it's been changed according to you.
If you could name me, if you could name one argument that is sound completely and has no, I'd be glad to hear.
A sound for what?
Yeah, would you like to hear a sound argument for Jesus not being the Messiah?
I mean, one that has
no errors. Yeah, no errors in it. Yeah, Jesus isn't the Messiah because he didn't fulfill any prophecies about the Messiah from the Old Testament.
We'll name one prophecy.
He didn't bring world peace. He didn't build the temple. He didn't bring in usher in the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
I mean, when was this? What are we talking about? Like the prophecy? I mean, there was no date for that to be fulfilled.
So as long as it's open ended, then then anyone who failed to be the Messiah could potentially be the Messiah. So, for example, in the 1990s, there was a man named Rabbi Schneerson, also known as the Rebbe, and some people thought he was the Messiah, but then he died. But as long as he returns, he could still be the Messiah and just fulfill it later. He's as likely to be the Messiah as Jesus.
I mean, there are many conspiracies in the Bible where it says, Jesus coming down was not the only time the Messiah. Many people believe that the Messiah.
I don't think Jesus came down is the problem. I don't have any reason to think that's true. I think
Well,
Jesus was
there,
born like anyone else, a mommy and a daddy, and was born. I don't believe the magical bits of the Bible. I have no reason to, unless you would like to give us a reason to think that Jesus
I mean,
came from heaven.
I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, all realistic, historians believe that Jesus was there, and there were many,
No, not all
sacred
historians. No,
things.
not all historians. There are some historians
I mean,
who there is peer reviewed historical research into the idea of Jesus not existing. Shit. Wait a minute. Let me get my
Flawless victory.
crazy work. All right. At Marduk 6888 with the $9.99. Look at that hippo spinning around in the chair. That's fun. Love that. All right. We got a Cross here. Cross, I'm gonna ask you, first and foremost, what should we call you?
I'm dorking.
Ew, gross. That's a child.
That's weird.
Yeah, that was weird. Somebody come get your kid. This is not a kindergarten. Jose agrees with us that the Bible isn't necessarily true. My God, you should see. I don't have that's my. You should if you could read this. I don't give a fuck about the spelling error. So like it says here, agrees us that the Bible isn't necessarily true. I don't even give a fuck as long as I understand what I was trying to say. It's my secret, Captain. I'm always jorking it. It says Christ before Jesus. Howdy, Jaren. His body was the temple. It was born down. Oh, no, actually incorrect, Hylian ruler. If we go back and we read the book of Ezekiel, it doesn't. The temple that is to be built isn't a human body. It actually gives you the dimensions, height, width, depth, material, and of the temple. It's a building. It's not a body. That's the author of the Gospel of John recontextualizing the prophecy of temple being built. But no, Jesus didn't rebuild the temple. Him resurrecting also, I don't think he resurrected, so he didn't rebuild the temple even in that sense. Is there an age limit? Yep, you got to be at least 18 years old because we're not Catholic priests and we don't care to talk to kids.
Oof.
There's two senses. Nope, I don't agree. But even if you take it to be the case that there are two senses to that prophecy, Jesus didn't resurrect, so he didn't rebuild his temple. Hylian thinks the Earth isn't 100 million years old. Okay. I like chicken nuggies. LOL. That's probably going to be good. Chicken nuggies. Are you at least 18 years old?
Yes, I am.
And what pronouns do you go by?
Ian.
And are you a Christian?
Yes, I am.
All right. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. This is Sean. We think the Bible's bullshit. Change our mind.
Damn. Honestly, I don't think there really is a way to change your mind because there really isn't any empirical evidence for the Bible or Christianity in general. But are you at least open to the possibility that there is a God?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, fair enough. Why is it that you don't believe that there is one?
No one's given me a good argument.
Yeah. Lack of sufficient evidence.
Yeah, fair enough. Reasonable. All right. Yeah, that's all. Have a good night.
Wait, are you just rolling over and giving up?
I mean, there's no.
You don't have any evidence at all for God, either philosophical or anything. You don't have any evidence whatsoever for God's existence.
I mean, don't you think there was some that significantly more people would actually believe?
Yes. So why do you believe?
I was just raised into it, and for some reason, I still believe. I don't even know.
Should you ask yourself that? Like, have you dedicated your life to religion or your theological beliefs?
No, but I have been trying to do significantly more research on that.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you believe we should try to align our beliefs with reality as much as possible?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. And would you agree that only believing things when there's sufficient evidence is the best way to do that?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. So should you rethink your theological position then?
Yeah, I have been rethinking it. I'm just trying to see where I land there.
Okay, no, that's fair. I mean, you could stick. Go ahead, Dalton.
I would suggest, Bud, that you give. I mean, this sounds self-serving, but give my channel a follow and listen to these conversations, because I think we do a pretty good job at demonstrating the fact that the Bible isn't true.
Yeah, sure. There we go. All right.
Yeah, just giving you food for thought. It sounds like you might be deconstructing, and we're here for you if you have questions or have doubts, or hey, what about this one thing? This sort of makes me believe. Anything like that. Just come on, let us know.
All right. Yeah, thanks. I'll take a look. Y'all have a good night.
You do. I should start doing that more, asking why they believe, because at that point I just get frustrated that they call in when they just want to roll over and give up on the conversationists.
Yeah.
That's a good on that. I'll just have to start doing that. All right. Everyone make sure you tap that screen. Share the live with those you love, with those you hate, with your friends and with your enemies. Let's get the word out there. We're at 3.8k likes. But there's 105 people in here, so that seems a bit uneven. So everyone make sure you're tapping that screen. Tap, and get us up to 10k likes. We'll get pushed out there. But the King James Holy Bible is the true living God. The King Thomas said, but the King James Holy Bible is the true living God. That, my friend, is called idolatry, and is actually the King James Bible says you shouldn't do that. You have engaged in a sin. You have turned an inanimate object into your God. I think maybe what you meant to say is it's the word of the true living God, in which case it definitely is not. The King James Version is filled to the brim with mistakes and errors in its translation.
It seems to me, and you probably know this, but anecdotally, it appears to me the King James Version seems to be the most popular version. Is that true?
It is. It's the most sold version of the Bible. That might have something to do with the fact that the KJV is it's not copyrighted, so you're able to redistribute it and sell it at your own leisure. And they used to put them in hotel rooms and motel rooms. So that probably has a little bit to do with it as well. But it was America's go-to Bible for the longest time. But we are like living in the 21st century, everyone. We need to leave the King James Version Bible behind in the past. We have much better translations. Anyone who's serious about biblical translations should look into like the New Revised Standard Version, updated edition. The Bible is the Word of God. It's not. Which is the living, breathing Word of God? Incorrect. Hylian Ruler, maybe you'd like to come up though and defend that position, because we're not convinced that is a true statement. Oh yeah, looks like we got someone here over on Discord. I'm gonna invite them up to speak now. We're gonna talk to. They're just D, which is short for D's nuts. No, D over on Discord. Hello, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you just fine. And
great.
What pronouns do you go by?
He, him, if you're talking in third person.
Yes. And are you a Bible believer?
Well, I've been in church for 45 years, and I did leave a question in the chat on Discord if you want to take a look at that, or I can just restate it here.
Yeah, you can just restate it.
But basically, there's a scenario. I'm currently in a church, but I'm trying to get out of one through different deconstruction things. But there's been a death in one of the families, and we had the big service today, and trying to support the family and give encouraging words. But I'm in this weird in between of like I've known the Christian faith for 45 years. But I keep hearing you and other atheists talk about the Bible just isn't true, and evolution and all the different stuff. So I guess the first part of my question is, how do you personally handle, a death of a loved one now that you're out of the Christian faith and, you've moved on from that?
Well, I remember. I first and foremost, I know that even though they don't really live anymore, they live on in my memories. That I have these memories of them that I can share with others, and I can remember. I can remember them fondly, and especially if this was a very principled person, if there's a certain principle or virtue that they love to live by that I find was good, I like to emulate that as a way of honoring them, but also speaking kindly of them. Doing what you can, to give them a honorable burial is also very good, and being there for their loved ones and their friends. These are the best ways that we can cope with the death of a loved one, is to just honor them and remember them.
Yeah, and I like that. I mean, that seems very logical to me. Obviously, if you're someone who's steeped in the Bible and the words of, Jesus and Paul and whoever else, wrote the books, obviously Jesus didn't write anything, but it's just so common to grab onto certain verses in times of sorrow and whatnot. But that makes sense. I appreciate your answer for that. What do you think about the esoteric teachings of astrology and the teachers that really hold to that view? And what merit, if any, does it hold at all?
I don't think it holds any merit whatsoever. Me and my friends, we jokingly refer to astrology as space racism. Mostly because at least a lot of us have experienced in the past people making judgments about us based on when we were born. Like, oh, you're a Cancer, you're an asparagus, or whatever. They'll make a judgment call based on about your personality based on when you were born. But there's no rationality behind the idea that when you were born. Or like the stars and the sun and the moon will have no effect on your future personality or who you are in the future. That's just evidently so. It's our nature and nurture. There are the environmental factors, circumstantial factors, the people we know, the people we spend time with, the things that we take in. These are what affect our personality, and also it's right here genetically in your brain. So it's about genetics, and what gets passed on to you also affects you. And also besides this is a really good story. There's this one woman play. I can't. Okay, and you'll like, what does this have to do with anything? Oh, don't worry, it does. So I remember there was this one woman play about this woman who deconstructed. Well, it's been so long since I watched it actually. She was in the movie Beethoven. She played the mom in Beethoven. Actually, before I just need to know for myself so I can go back and listen to it. Who played the mom in Beethoven? I remember Beethoven. Let's see. I can't remember where she's at. She's in one of the Beethoven movies. But anyways, she deconstructed. She was very religious. She did her like one woman play, and she tells a story about how when she was a kid, she thought her birthday was, I don't remember what month this correlates to, but it's the month that correlates to the Virgo sign. And the reason, but it turns out it wasn't true. Her parents told her her birthday was something else so that they could get her into school at an earlier time. And so she grew up thinking that she was a Virgo. She would read her astrology signs every month. And she every time it always like applied to her, even though she wasn't really a Virgo. And then when she became I think it's a Cancer, maybe. It's the one with the weights. And she's like, and then she read that one and oh shit, it also applied to her because they're vague enough that they can't apply to you. And on top of that, I think the stars positions have moved to such an extent that whatever sign you think you belong to, you actually don't belong to that sign anymore for like the past 2,000 years. So there isn't any like data to support like astrology whatsoever.
Yeah, that's so interesting. Because a lot of them will take like the Virgo and the crux of the sun, how it disappears for 3 days, and then the sun rises from out of the tomb out of 3 days, and it's basically taking the Jesus story and like putting it in the stars and seeing how it all aligns. And I mean, it's fascinating to listen to, honestly, but I just don't know enough about it to really say yes or no whether it's true or not.
You're talking about, okay, so this idea that the story of Jesus is actually related to astrology, it was
Right,
made
yeah.
It was made popular by a film called Zeitgeist. And
Okay.
and I'm telling you this as so Zeitgeist possess like a very anti-Christian position of the New Testament. I'm saying this as an
Mhm.
atheist. The movie Zeitgeist is full of shit. A lot of the things
Right.
it has to say are not accurate. It makes all kinds of crazy claims. Like it makes the claim that Jesus had 12 disciples and was baptized and born on December 25th, and the god Horus was born on December 25th, had 12 disciples and was baptized, but none of that's true. It makes up a lot of stuff in that film, and the person who made this documentary would have done better if they had just like learned a little bit more about Judaism, and then they would have better understood the symbols and whatnot of the New Testament rather than running to astrology.
Yeah, it's so fascinating, but like you're saying, it's just full of crap, and nothing's real. Well, last thing, if you don't mind, in your professional opinion, who do you, if half of Paul's letters were not written by him, then who the crap wrote all this stuff?
Someone who is a Paul fanboy.
Yeah.
Most scholars place these letters in the late 1st century, early 2nd century CE. And the way we're able to tell that it's not written by him is that there's a completely different style of writing. Also, these works include things like bishops and deacons, which are clerical members of the church that did not exist in the time of the Apostle Paul. These are later like insertions and later development of the church in the late 1st century, early 2nd century, something that really didn't exist in his time. Paul talking about it would be anachronistic.
Yeah, that's once again, that's another fascinating topic for sure. Is there any like in your Bible Guide book club? Is there like any books I should go search out to learn more about that historical type stuff?
It's funny you say that because I guess I'll just announce it here again for everyone who might be tuning in for the first time right now. We are going to start pretty soon doing a Bible Guy book club. In fact, you're on Discord right now, right? You're looking at we're talking on Discord.
I'm looking at it.
Yeah, you can see right below where it says Bible Guy Call-In Studio. There's another one called Bible Guy Book Club, and that's where we will be doing our Bible Guy Book Club in the future. I think it's going to be on Sundays around 5 p.m. Central Standard Time is the time I think I'm going to start doing this. I might start doing it starting next Sunday. But yeah, I will be reading at least one chapter every Sunday from a selected book where we will be studying biblical scholarship from reputable like scholarly sources.
Okay. Well, just real fast, a little bit about me is I was a flat earther for a long time. In the last year or so, I've been a preterist, like a full preterist. But I'm trying to really not be dumb anymore, if that's even possible for me. But so I really appreciate all the discussion. And even though flat Earth is crazy, even though full preterism is nuts, it's compelling to a certain point. But I'm not a science guy. I'm just a musician who likes to play guitar. But when I see information that kind of tickles the ear, it's like, oh, that's interesting. Let's look into that. And then you just kind of run with it until you're proven wrong. And I appreciate being proven wrong. So
I heard you say preterist. Did you also say flat Earth?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So for the flat Earth stuff, I suggest you go talk to my friend Dr. Blitz.
Okay.
He's a physicist here on TikTok. He does debates on this topic with people. And then when it comes to the preterist stuff, my friend Justin from the Deconstruction Zone has a really great video on the Myth Vision podcast where they talk about preterism and the failings of preterism.
Yeah, I mean, at first glance, it seems legit because it's all about audience relevance and time statements. But then you have to spiritualize everything. If like, well, Jesus really didn't come back physically. He came back in the clouds in the glory of his Father, kind of like Isaiah 19, where like, when God came upon a nation, he rode upon the clouds and he had the thunder and all this stuff, So when Jesus says, I'm going to come on the clouds, well, I mean, you can kind of tie that together, but there's really not a good
because it also says
way of doing it.
It also says every eye will see him, even those who pierced him, and that would imply that everyone would like witness this, and it didn't happen. Yeah, the biggest thing that helps make preterism work is the idea that words don't mean what they actually mean. And once you hold someone down on the fact that words do in fact mean what they mean, the preterism kind of falls apart.
Yeah, but you could also take that to Revelation, I think 21, where you got the lake of fire, and you got death and Hades being thrown into the lake of fire. So at that point, the word death doesn't always mean biological dying. It could mean something else, but you got to dig deeper to figure out what they're using that word in the context.
Yeah, you would have to have some good reason to think so within the context. So, like in other instances where death is mentioned and it's another author, another section of the Bible, we must remember that we don't use, we would never use the book of Revelation to interpret the book of Matthew. That each author has their own language, their own way of speaking, and that we shouldn't just assume what's called univocality of the Bible.
Yeah, totally agree. Hey, Dalton, I really appreciate your time. I look forward to the book club, and you have a great rest of your night, okay?
You too, bud. Have a wonderful night.
See ya.
Fantastic. That was a good conversation, I think. Let's see. Helped with decon.
Space racism is a classic. I'm going to have to...
Yeah, me and my friend Tyler, we've for years now, we've referred to it, and also me and Ashlyn also refer to it as space racism. And in fact, she messaged me just now. She said, because she's got her region of psychology. She says, there is only one really accepted personality model accepted in psych, widely accepted. It's called Ocean, or the Big Five. Openness to experience, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. Neuroticism. Ugh, you get the idea. It's called Ocean, or the Big Five. So that's the only real psychological model that's really accepted in psychology, and we should probably roll on that instead of rolling on space racism. Someone said I want to come on a cloud. It would just fall to the earth. I'm sure the density and all that. At Flash Perez with the $4.99 saying hello, hi, good to see you, Flash Perez. Thank you for that, for your donation. All right, fantastic. Well, I'm going to be opening up the panel now to all friendlies. If you'd like to come up and ask your Bible questions, or questions on how to deal with certain like apologetics, now's the time. Request on up and let's have the conversation. You can request up on TikTok, or if you're on YouTube, you can call in at tinyurl.com/BG show Discord. Oh man. I don't know how John does this for 8 hours long.
You're reverberating a little bit.
Oh yeah, 1 second. Yeah, I had to. There's a little feature I had to turn on. There's this feature on TikTok Studio. It's called background music, and when I have it off, when I have it on for some reason, I echo for you, not for the audience. The audience doesn't hear the reverb.
Right.
For the people on the panel, I will reverb, and then but if I don't have it on, y'all won't be able to hear anything on my desktop, including the Discord chat. A call. So I have to remember to keep turning it on and off. John and Sean have unbelievable stamina in dealing. Yeah, do you? Because I'm usually asleep for most of it. So I'm taking it all in by osmosis. But
we have that effect on people. Sorry.
do you stay on the panel with him for the full 8 hours?
Sometimes only part of it. Sometimes I can't make it. It just depends on what life-wise what's going on.
Okay. I got here a message.
A lot of the time, I'm there full time there.
This is a question for me from YouTube Punk saying thoughts on Joe Schmidt converting to Catholicism. Yeah, my thought is, who is Joe Schmidt? I don't know who that is.
I was going to ask you that.
I'm guessing. I think I saw a clip on a Godless Engineer shared something on Facebook recently about some fella who became Catholic. And I maybe that's who Joe Schmidt is, but I don't know anything about Joe Schmidt. I'll have to look more into this, but that's you know, for all the W's we get in atheism, every now and then someone takes a huge L and becomes a Christian. I can only wonder what is the reason for him turning to the dark side. Philosopher guy, Majesty of Reason on YouTube. Oh, all right. Well, I'll have to look more into that. We got here Angel Decohia 242. Are you at least 18 years old?
I am. I'm 22. How's it going, Dalton?
How you doing? And what pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
And are you a Bible believer?
I am not.
Oh, you're
more.
Fantastic. What brings you up to the Bible Guy show?
Yeah, so a couple of reasons actually. One, I wanted to say thank you. I watch your show a lot, and it was actually you and Ashlyn a few years ago. I don't know. I'm sure you don't remember. You guys have so many guests, but I came up and had a lot of questions because I was kind of going through the construction phase, and you had a lot of sources to give me, and eventually, after hearing a lot of your live streams and hanging around, we had a conversation about the slavery in the Bible and about the genocide that takes place as well. And luckily, a lot of that is thanks to you guys. So that was my number one reason for coming up, just because it was a while ago, but I never really got to say thank you for that. So appreciate what you guys do.
Oh,
you really do make a difference.
We both appreciate that. I'm sure Ashlyn's listening in right now onto the show. I'm sure she greatly appreciates your kind words. I know I do. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, the second reason to come up is because I've started to kind of, just because I've watched this stuff, I get a lot of other Christians in my feed saying just some of the most insane things, and it's making me realize, man, it's just sad how deep the roots of indoctrination lead sometimes. And so I've started to kind of use your arguments as well and to try and convince some of these Christians their ideas and their morals are kind of rotten just off of what they take from the Bible. And I've noticed the number one problem I always run into is they always come down to the look at the trees. It's such an annoying thing that they go to the fine tuning and the look at the trees and look how amazing life is, that I just can never quite get around to how do I explain that that's just not a solid argument?
Yeah, there's two things. One, if you want to be a little bit funny and facetious, tell them that I don't believe in God because I believe in evolution. And as soon as they ask you for evidence for evolution, just say, look at the trees.
I like that.
Because it's true.
Like that, actually.
Yeah, because it's true. The trees do provide evidence for evolution, but beyond that, Yeah, it's good to when he says look at the trees, they want to talk about the beauty and grandeur of nature, but also point out the horrible things of nature and ask them. For example, there's an animal called a blue-footed booby. Have you ever heard of it?
I have.
Yeah, and the blue-footed booby, it eats its young occasionally.
Yep.
So if beauty in nature is evidence for God, what does that mean about the things that are horrible in nature? Is God responsible for those things? Then you can go into the idea that humans are, if they are designed, we are poorly designed. The same tube that I drink out of is the same tube that I breathe out of, and if I do both wrong at the same time, I will choke and die. My testes being on the outside of my body, also not a great design. Trust me, I know. I mean, it's great sometimes in bed, but otherwise, I'm very vulnerable to attack. So I look into any number of like problematic things about nature that don't make sense under the assumption that there's an all-knowing, all-good creator responsible for making the world.
And you brought up the fine-tuning argument. That is a very popular one. The fine-tuning argument basically posits that the universal constants of physics, the speed of light, strong and weak nuclear force, the gravitational constants, etc., are so finely tuned for life that if they were any different, life couldn't exist. And there may be some truth to, like, there's not a very big left or right limit, but there's a number of problems with it. And, like a couple of them aren't like slam dunks, but the first one is if an all powerful God exists, the universal constants are literally arbitrary. If he can do anything, we could magically exist and we could be magically delicious. That's an old Lucky Charms commercial. But we could literally walk on the sun. He wouldn't need the universal constants to make life. But you could reasonably argue God is an artiste and he wanted to make them. Okay, great. So we could just grant that he made it that way, but it's important to know that they are completely arbitrary when you have not just magic, but like an OP magic guy that can do literally anything. The other thing is I've spoken with physicists on this, and Chase, if you're still in the chat, I don't know if you are, you can speak on this if you like, but physicists don't know if the universal constants could be any other way. And if they can't, I'm not saying they can't, but if they can't, then the probability that they would be conducive to life are P equals 100%, because they are what they are and they are conducive to life, notwithstanding the vast majority of the universe is not conducive to life. But the big one, okay, so let me go ahead and grant that they could be anything and the statistical odds are infinitesimally small that they would land on life. What they are doing is the Texas sharpshooter fallacy. Life exists, and then they're just saying after the fact, oh, that must be the goal. And so they're drawing a target around the arrow. And you can give them a card analogy. I don't know if anyone's ever played spades. You dealt 13 cards, and your goal is to get like as many spades as you want, because spades are like the trump card. So if you were playing spades and someone dealt you 13 cards, and you not only ended up with every spade in the deck, you got them all in order, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like exactly all the way up to the highest one. The statistical odds you would have gotten those cards, all the spades in order, are 1 in 4 sextillion. That's with 21 zeros. That's a ludicrously large number. So surely you would think that the dealer was probably cheating or helping you, or something weird is going on. That's understandable. It's even reasonable. Now, the problem with this, though, it's amazing for a reason, because the game was set before the cards were dealt. You already knew what the goal was. Now imagine a different hand is dealt and you have 2 of clubs, ace of hearts, 3 of diamonds. It's just a random mix of cards. The statistical odds you would have gotten those cards in that order are exactly the same, 1 in 4 sextillion. But you wouldn't think it was miraculous. Now, what if after the fact, post hoc, the cards are already dealt and you invent the game that needs all the exact cards you got, and in the order of like importance of the card, that's not amazing because you're coming up with the game already after the cards are already dealt. Well, that's exactly what they are doing. We already exist. It's not established that there was a goal for us to exist ahead of time. So they're inventing the game after the fact that, aha, the point of it must have been life. They are drawing the target around the arrow. And I haven't heard a good answer to that.
Gotcha. That's a pretty good argument, actually, to that. That's a pretty good way to put it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that
long odds are defied all the time, not just because of the size of the universe, and that's another thing. Like something that's really, 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 really rare will certainly happen when you have a universe that's ludicrously large. We don't even know how large it is because we can only see out so far. But it's even trivial because every time you deal yourself 13 cards, you will defy extraordinarily long odds that you would have gotten whatever those cards are in that order every single time they're dealt. It's not only not amazing, it's 100% expected every time you're dealt those cards.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. That makes sense. And I think that when you define it that way, I mean, any reasonable person who is actually genuine about these arguments, I think would understand that. Yeah, I just even as when I was a Christian, that was the one argument that always kind of stumped me, but at the same time, it was like, I think as a people, we kind of look around for answers,
Yeah.
and it's so easy to jump to God of the gaps. It's so easy to jump to, well, it doesn't make sense, so someone must have done it, right? And
Yeah.
usually what I'll do when I'm arguing these points is, okay, but why does it have to be the God of the Bible, right? Like maybe you want to be a deist, maybe you want to believe there's some kind of creationist out there. Like I've always understood that agnosticism is pretty intellectually honest in the fact that like we don't know and we never will know. But
Yes.
yeah, that's usually my go-to argument is like, why does it have to be the God of the Bible? Because I think that is at least easier to argue than, the fine-tuning argument. Because again, it's just the odds are so slim and
And
yeah,
it's irrelevant how slim they are.
right.
Shuffle a deck right now, deal yourself 13 cards, and the statistical odds you would have gotten those 13 cards in that order are 1 in 4 sextillion. Technically, it's 3.95
Yeah.
sextillion, but close enough, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's a good point. I think I'll use that.
yeah, every single time. And so you have to show ahead of time that the point was to create life, and then it would be like, wow, the universal constants shaked out exactly like the goal. Well, establish there was a goal ahead of time. Otherwise, you're just creating the game after the cards have already been dealt to match the cards that you got. And how you doing, Chase? Great to see you. Did I F anything up when it comes to like talking about the universal constants?
No. You did a good job there, but there are three things that I can add to it. So everything Sean
Sure.
said is good. One thing that's kind of a short issue is if the universe was fine-tuned for life, we would expect two things. One, we would expect to find more life in more places rather than just the
Yeah.
one. But
Right.
the other thing is you would expect life to play some kind of important factor in the universe, whereas we don't have any significance whatsoever. The second one, though, the second two that are a lot stronger. One, when they say that like the odds of the constants being this or that, or the odds of the universe forming, that's actually impossible to know. So whenever you do
Right.
odds, you have to have something called a normalization constant, which just means you're dividing each individual case by the amount of total possibilities. So when you roll a dice, for example, or a die, there are 6 sides for a normal one. So you have a 1 in 6 for each number, but you have to first be able to count the sides. You
Yes.
can't possibly know what all these different universes could or could not look like. So what are you basing your odds off of? What number are you dividing by? And then there's
Exactly.
There's a third one I've been thinking about more recently. It's actually on the with you and John, Sean.
Yeah.
Somebody brought it up. It was before I started joining y'all's lives, but somebody brought one up and it popped in my head because he said, what if the force of gravity, like if you just use Newton's equations and it was F equals G mm over R squared, like what if G was 2G, right? What if it was twice as strong?
Yeah, I've thought that
But
too, actually. That's
but
funny you
think
say that.
but think about this. But if we're going to arbitrarily change things, what if this other universe G is 2G, but it scales like 1 over 2 times the distance squared? Those 2's cancel and you still get the exact same formula. So
Oh,
if you're
that's
willing
Okay.
if you're willing to change one constant, maybe things are really mucky. But if you change 2 or 3 in canceling ways, then I could think of tons of ways to get to the exact same formulas while changing constant.
Yeah, that's a great point, actually. Thanks for that argument, because those are all great points, and I think I'll probably use that going forward on people who are smart enough to understand it. Uh, that's that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and the cards thing is like every the everyday person can understand it, and you can shorten it up with the Texas sharpshooter. Really, the cards analogy is like putting them in that position, like, yeah, that understanding that
Hmm.
every time you deal yourself 13 cards, you're defying 1 in 4 sextillion odds every single time you deal yourself those cards, and
Right, the
then
odds are always the same, no matter
yeah,
what kind of
yeah,
setup you get. Yeah.
and it's like it is reasonable if you get all 13 spades in order. um if you started off playing the game of spades and it was like established ahead of time that was the goal, that is reasonable to say something fishy's going on. But if you create the game to match your cards after the cards are already dealt, there's nothing miraculous about that at all. And like
Right.
that's
Yeah, that actually makes so much more sense when you put it that way, because you're saying the chances of you getting this single outcome is so incredibly rare, but so is the other one. So if you're looking at, let's say the goal was to get one spade and one shrub, depending, just any random order, then it
yeah,
suddenly
yeah,
changes how you're viewing that setup, right? Okay,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
pretty good
exactly.
argument. I like the way that you put that. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, if you want to Google a physics side of the same thing that he's saying, we call it the anthropic principle. Basically, life exists in this universe because it can. So you're
Right.
here to ask the
Mhm.
question. Therefore, there's a 100% chance that this universe would have life because life is the thing asking the question right now.
Yeah, that makes sense too.
But if you were to boil it down to rhetoric, it simplifies directly to the sharpshooter fallacy and the spades analogy that Sean's using. But if you wanted to look up the physics behind it, anytime you hear a physicist talk about the anthropic principle, that's basically like, let's say a universe is created every 2 seconds since 100 trillion years ago, and almost all of them life is not possible. Well, which one will we find ourselves in? Well, obviously one where life was possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I like it. That was pretty much all the questions I had. Thanks for answering them, all three of you. I appreciate it.
Fantastic. Well, you have a wonderful day, and hey, good luck continuing on you've done your deconstruction, but don't forget, deconstruction never stops.
For sure. Yeah, thanks, Dolan. Take care.
Have a good day, Angel.
And if you guys aren't following Chase is a physicist, and he loves to come up on panels and do his thing. He's been great on John and I's show, and yeah, give him a follow, because we what happens a lot is Christians will come up, the second law of thermodynamics proves blah blah blah, and then what you have is two non-physicists or three non-physicists or however many non-physicists arguing about physics in areas that none of us, myself included, have any business treading. And so it's great to have him around when those things come up.
Fantastic. Yeah, Chase is awesome. I love having. There are three people that I love having up here for science talks. When it comes to physics specifically, it's Blitz, Quantonaut, and Chase. Thank you so much for that, Chase. I'm going to read some super chats here, and then that'll probably be the end of our show for the night. We out here at Sonic Shroom with the $5 Australian. Hello, mate. Oh, wait, nope, sorry. Good day, mate. Before Christianity, shellfish were forbidden. Then Christians could eat them. They were prawn again Christians. Prawn again Christians. Oh, wait a minute. Let me get this out. Very good. Prawn again Christians. Very good.
Jeez.
Dad joke
That's
of the
a dad
day.
joke.
Yep, that's a dad joke if I ever heard one. And at Bjorn Hartmeyer with the 20 Danish krones, Osmosis rocks. Osmosis. I love osmosis. It's so easy to learn things with osmosis. At Judy James with the $5, every day you got to let your feelings show. Yes, you got to let your feelings show every day. Don't bottle it up, everybody. It's good to let your feelings out every now and again. And at Missing Yotand Tittle with the $1.99. I guess this is a after show question. Does Samuel being called an Elohim means he was divine? In a sense. So Elohim is a word in Hebrew that refers to divine / supernatural beings as a whole category. So this would include gods, angels, demons. They all are Elohim. They're all divine beings. They're all supernatural entities. And then also there's a whole thing about in 1 Samuel 28 verse 13 about how should Elohim be translated, because what's interesting about that passage is that in the Hebrew, is it referring to Samuel alone as an Elohim, or are there other spirits present along with Elohim with Samuel that aren't mentioned? And it would seem to be that would seem to be the case, because if we look at the Hebrew, 1 Samuel 28 verse 13, it says that the witch of Endor says about what she sees, it says Elohim ra'iti olim min haaretz, that she sees gods or Elohim coming up from the earth. And the reason that this is interesting is that the word for coming up is olim, which is in the plural, which means that Samuel wasn't like the only thing that came up when she called him. That the imagery that one should be picturing is that there are many divine supernatural entities that the witch of Endor called forward, and one of them was Samuel. But yes, the word Elohim is being used to refer to Samuel as a supernatural / divine entity. And if you want to read more about this passage, the scholarship on it, there's a book called Like Elu, Are You Wise? Elu is ILU. Like Elu, Are You Wise? By Brian B. Schmidt from the University of Michigan, specifically chapter 29, Pondering Pandemonium, Reimagining Elohim in 1 Samuel 28 verse 13. He goes into detail about the textual tradition and what exactly is going on with the word Elohim here in this verse. I will find an online copy of it, and I'll try and remember to add it to I'll put it in the description of this YouTube video after the show's over. All right. We got any other super chats, or is that it? That looks like it's just it. All right, and let's take a look and see who is live right now that I can send you crazy kids off to go have fun with. Let's see. Put this guy on the charger. Holy shit, it's almost dead. Let's see. Overall, though, pretty good day as far as calls are concerned. We got a few. Anyways, I don't care about cosplayers right now. Anyways, overall, I mean, we had a few nutters come in, a few lame asses who just wanted to come in and disagree and then just left without saying anything because I guess Christianity is not true. Born again atheist and nope, Thinker is live. I haven't sent a a raid over to Thinker in quite some time. So everyone go over to Thinker's Live and let them know that the Bible guy sent you. And with that, I've been the Bible guy. Remember to keep reading, keep learning, and we will see you all again tomorrow at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you, Sean, for joining me up today.
A pleasure. I appreciate you having me. Thanks, everyone.
And a big thank you to all the mods for all your hard work. And a big, big thank you to all the super chatters today. Without your donations, my show would not be possible. I would not be able to do this without your help. So we are super appreciative of all that y'all do. All right. So I'll see you all guys tomorrow. Goodbye.
Born from dust and questioning fire, wielding truth like a sword of desire. Ancient scrolls and cosmic flame. He tears through myth, he breaks the chain. Echoes of prophets, the stars align. Knowledge and thunder intertwine. Reason ascends where blind faith fell. He reads the word and he reads it well. The Bible guide, seeker of the light. Through time and fire he rides the night. With reason's blade and wisdom's cry. The world shall hear the Bible guide. Scrolls of ages, words aflame. He dares to question